Hello and welcome to BBC London News with me, Riz Latif. First tonight, 3 London hospitals have been told they must improve following a damning report by inspectors. Dirty and broken equipment, cancelled operations and staff shortages are just some of the problems found at St Mary's, Hammersmith and Charing Cross. The report from the Care Quality Commission follows an inspection in September. It even issued a warning over hygiene in one A&E. The hospitals say improvements are now being made. Here's our political correspondent, Carl Mercer.
The signs tell their own story. The message at the A&E at St Mary's could hardly be clearer.
Visitors and staff are reminded to use the hand gel sanitiser.
Things here have changed in the last few weeks, and they've had to. When inspectors came here in September, they were so worried by the conditions they saw that they ordered the hospital to clean up the emergency department immediately. They found the curtains in some bays had brown stains and said a number of items of broken equipment were held together with tape. They also found a portable X-ray machine labelled as clinically clean, which was found to be thick with dust.
There's no doubt that what was found by the CQC was not good enough in the A&E department, and we really needed to redouble our efforts to ensure that the standards of cleanliness, of hygiene, are our #1 priority down there.
The signs have been improved, and that's really important so patients...
The clean-up has been done. Julian Redhead is one of the main consultants here in A&E and agrees things did have to change.
More bins and more sinks. Visible, and then these sinks. And I think it's important that the sinks are visible. They're physical signs. When you come out of the room, you see the sink and you need to wash your hands, rather than being hidden away.
But people will be surprised, won't they, Julian, that wasn't happening before. That isn't in the mentality.
Well, it was happening, but it may not have been as visible. 3
hospitals run by the Imperial Healthcare Trust, St Mary's at Paddington, Charing Cross and Hammersmith, were rated as requiring improvement.
It isn't just the pressure. Sometimes it is because these organisations need to look seriously at themselves, speak to their patients about what really matters, and attend to some of the basics in terms of the way the hospitals are run. And that is what we're challenging them to do. We want to drive improvement. We want to see hospitals improve. So it is inevitable we are finding things they need to do better.
Inspectors said more needs to be done to help people like Nigel Orchard. He's waiting for a hip operation, but outpatient services were ranked as inadequate.
It's depressing, and it stops you from doing things. You think it'll be all right because it'll be next month. And then next month, it doesn't happen, and so it's the next month. And then the next month, it doesn't happen, and so it's the next month. And, you know, there's a limit to how long you can kind of go on. It kind of drags you down.
The CQC has said it will stage unannounced visits over the coming months to make sure things are improving. Carl Mercer, BBC London News.
And Carl's here now in the studio, hearing there, of course, of growing pressure on NHS services. Tonight, a plea for help from London Ambulance Service.
Yeah, and this is a story we've done several times over recent weeks, and we've reported about their lack of paramedics. They need more staff, and they are seeing a surge in demands. Now they've asked other ambulance services across the country to help them out, if possible, something called mutual aid. It's the sort of thing that they did during the Olympics when other ambulance forces did come here, and the sort of thing that they did actually for the Scottish Ambulance Service during the Commonwealth Games, so London was helping out there. But it is a sign of the sort of pressure that they're under. And I was at the board meeting for the LAS, the ambulance service, this morning, where we found out that yesterday was their busiest Monday ever. They had 6,000 calls, 1,000 more than they predicted. 1,700 of those were the most serious Category A calls, serious and life-threatening injuries, and it means that they were hitting their target of getting to incidents only 55% in 8 minutes instead of being there at 80%.
And do we know why we're seeing this growing pressure on ambulance services?
The truth is they don't at the moment, and it's interesting. I mean, talking not just to the ambulance staff, but to people who run the A&Es in London and people even higher up in the NHS in London. And what they've seen is this surge starting back at the start of November, so Christmas coming early sort of thing, in a bad way for the NHS. It is a busy time of the year, but they've seen it start much earlier, and it's sustained. It's what one of the board members this morning called unabated and unprecedented as a step change in activity. So no, they don't know what's causing it at the moment. They've said, we will have a look at it in the new year, but we're too busy just trying to keep up at the moment.
Understandably. Carl, thank you for that. Our political correspondent, Carl Mercer.